Hi everyone, welcome to Eagle Eye. Just a little perturbed, and Granny's gonna tell you the truth where nobody else will tell you the truth. Granny's gonna tell you the truth. I can't handle this anymore, guys. This is the land of the free, the home of the brave. What have we done to what our forefathers gave us? I don't care. It doesn't matter if the Freemasons built the United States. Up under that Freemasonry were Christians. Okay? I think Freemasonry itself was a Christian organization, but over time they desecrated Washington's name. They desecrated everything, and this esoteric stuff should not have been allowed. But I guess since they were allowed to build it, well, something is terribly wrong. We thought we were a Christian nation, and then we found out in 2020 that a guy is going to get up in the at Washington behind the podium in Washington D.C. and pray in the name of a man and a woman and pray to Brahma. What? I mean, the insanity is beyond what I can handle. We can bring it on into today, but first of all, let's start back here where President Eisenhower, was trying to warn us. I want you to keep in mind that the internet was invented through CERN and DARPA, and so was Google, and they're all military, whether you realize that or not, they are. And my hat says justice. And this is what this land is supposed to stand for. Like, justice for all? What happened to that? It seems to have been turned upside down on its head. But there's still people in the United States that believe in justice for all. Red and yellow, black and white, we are precious in His sight. And it doesn't matter what they're putting on this image, because it's total nonsense. Let me show you what I mean. We'll start off with President Eisenhower. Okay. And this is what President Eisenhower said.
A vital element in keeping the peace is our military establishment. Our arms must be mighty, ready for instant action, so that no potential aggressor may be tempted to risk his own destruction. Our military organization today bears little relation to that known of any of my predecessors in peacetime, or indeed by the fighting men of World War II or Korea. Until the latest of our world conflicts, the United States had no armaments industry.
None.
American makers of plowshares could, with time and as required, make swords as well. But we can no longer risk emergency improvisation of national defense. We have been compelled to create a permanent armaments industry of vast proportions. Added to this, 3.5 million men and women are directly engaged in the defense establishment. We annually spend on military security alone more than the net income of all United States corporations.
All United States corporations, more on the military
establishment and a large arms industry is new in the American experience. The total influence, economic, political, even spiritual, is felt in every city, every state house, every office of the federal government.
Even spiritual.
We recognize the imperative need for this development, yet we must not fail to comprehend its grave implications. Our toil, resources, and livelihood are all involved. So is the very structure of our society. In the councils of government, we must guard against the acquisition of unwarranted influence, whether sought or unsought, by the military-industrial complex. The potential for the disastrous rise of misplaced power exists and will persist. We must never let the weight of this combination endanger our liberties or democratic processes. We should take nothing for granted. Only an alert and knowledgeable citizenry can compel the proper meshing of the huge industrial and military machinery of defense with our peaceful methods and goals.
All right, so you all heard that. And I have to say, I think it might be possible, especially in the upper echelons of the military leadership, and I'm not talking about Trump, I'm talking about a mesh of Mossad and CIA and upper echelon of the military are purposely destroying us in order to set up 6G, and they don't care who they hurt. They didn't care who they were hurting when they destroyed and demolished the trade towers. When they killed 3,000 people, they didn't care who they were hurting. What they cared about was their agenda and the outcome of their agenda and how to plan to go to war with people who are not warring against us. Because if you're going to make a toy like a bombing machine, if you're going to make the toy, you got to play with the toy or the toy is useless. Do we have to have defense? Yes, we do. Are we being sent to wars that are not our wars and that we shouldn't be fighting? Yes, we are. What was Vietnam all about? We don't know. We think we were fighting communism, and we actually won half of Vietnam, and we actually won half of Korea. But, you know what? As time goes on, and yes, I know God has a plan. He does have a plan. Also want to say that he's not causing everything in time. He is not causing it to happen. He's allowing certain things to happen. Some things that are being caused by the devil. Okay, who's being allowed by God to run things for a little while. Until God says, till the Father says, till the Creator says, that's enough. And his plan has been accomplished. Okay, so God knows what he's doing, and I understand that perfectly. And I know that we cannot control the wars. It's foolish to think that we can. You know, I'll be asking questions like, why in the world would they shoot a nuclear bomb into space to test it? And they knew the results could be not only to put a hole in the ozone, but they knew that the results could be complete atmospheric destruction. But they did it anyway. There are people on this planet that are of the devil. They are absolutely insane. They don't care about you, and there are many of them in governments. Not just the United States government, but in governments all over the world. That's where many of them are. That's where many of them infiltrate and work. But I've never seen so many devils as in this last administration before Trump, and some still in this administration since Trump, especially TPUSA. Now I want to show you another video. Watch this. First of all, let me say that Charlie Kirk was killed September 10th, 2025. And this was September 16th, 2025. This was when this video was put out. So I suppose they were doing this on September 16th, 2025. And here we go.
Let's see, what are they doing? Because I see a lot of construction smoke going on. Oh no, they are constructing, they are taking out the whole platform where he was sitting, and they are constructing a new one, as you can see. So that's what the change is. And guess what, the killer was there, and there was a video taken from here, and that's where you see a killer running behind in the background, and I was like right here when it happened. So this is what is happening right now. I think, oh, as you can see, my boss is still there. They are taking the things inside, so I'm gonna go inside and see. Let's see, what are they doing?
Boys and girls and boys, gentlemen and ladymen. Just kidding there. You don't clean up a crime scene in a week. Actually, less than a week. You don't do that. No, you have to do an investigation. And you don't clean it up and reconstruct the whole area. You do not take down cameras right after a shooting. I also want to mention that there was a camera with a girl, a woman, filming Charlie right directly in front of him, a little to his left, on not on a cell phone, but a camera. She should have everything that happened in that view on that camera. But we haven't seen it. Okay. We have seen the backside. Candace showed us the backside. Because the guy that took the camera down and kept the CD, the SD card, he sent her a copy of it. And she decided not to show it for a while. Excuse me. And then she decided to go ahead and show it to us, finally. And there's no blood, except a little bit on his hand. There's no way he was shot with 30-06, and unless they changed that story, their story is dead in the water. Okay, they are liars. They are deceivers, and I don't know if they think that they're teaching us a lesson like don't believe everything that you see. We already knew not to believe everything that we see. Okay, we don't need to be taught a lesson with the FBI and everybody involved and saying I forgive you when it hasn't even been proven who actually no investigation was done before Cox came on there, that cop in Utah, and said, "We got him." No, you can't come in front of an audience and say, "We got him." You don't know if you got him or not. He hasn't been to trial yet. This is not China. This is not Russia. This is the United States. And we are fed up to here with this bullshit that you people are, excuse me, punching down our throats. We don't like it no more. Okay, whether it's your idea to get us emotionally upset or it's not your idea to do that, I don't care one way or the other. We cannot continue this way. Somebody better bring this to a solution. Somebody better solve this. Or everybody in America, excuse me, needs to get offline. We need to get offline. We don't need to give them any of our attention anymore. They're liars. They're not telling us the truth about anything. Why are we leaving them in office? Why is the Democratic Party allowed to shut down our government without permission whenever they feel like it and continue to get paid with our money? Why is that? What is the deal? What's going on? Let me show you something else. This is where Trump was shot. And it's just all bloody and everything like that. And yeah, so let's watch a minute of this.
We've been up here, so we wouldn't know that information.
We just hold ass. We got over here. We helped
no problem. Is that all your stuff? That was one of our. Yeah. So someone came up looking to treat him, and
Yes.
okay. Copy. Gas is off to the building, just so you know. Thank you. Yeah, they do. I talked to the guy. Those people detained were filming. Maybe they were involved. Maybe they weren't. Well, I think it's.
They're discussing
The guys that saw them filming were like, oh, they were.
who saw it and who saw him go up on the roof and blah blah blah.
When shots started firing, they tried to.
But you can see where there's blood on the and a shoe.
Victims in the crowd.
Blood and a shoe on the roof. You know, because they had to be sure and film this.
Any.
Let's go a little further. Let's get to the end of this now.
What's that? Oh, okay.
Now the body's gone, but there's blood and a shoe.
Huh.
I was like, I'm gonna die.
Trying to see if I see gas meters anywhere, because if he has this device.
And I don't know why they're putting up something trying to block out the the video of it. That's kind of stupid. But anyway. Okay, so you guys remember Trump gets shot. And then we see him come up from behind the podium and there's blood coming from his ear down his face and can easily, just like snap a little hickey dooger and they can make blood. You know what I'm saying? Hollywood has many tricks. And then we see a photo of a line, this line in the sky that actually the camera was so good that it caught the bullet. Seriously? Okay. It's like Tom Holman saying 666 is nothing bad. It just means I got your back, you got my back. I got your 6, you got my 6. No, Tom Homan, that's not what 666 means to us, okay? That might be what it means to you, but that is not what it means to us, okay? And we're tired of the Hollywood little bloopers of all these little twerps doing this, doing this. We're just, that's not us, okay? That's Hollywood, okay? That's Freemasonic bull crap. That's what that is. But getting past that, let me show you another video. Okay, this is the guy after the shooting of Trump happened.
That didn't make sense to me when I first found out about it, because this is the body, for lack of a better term, is evidence. I mean, this was a shooter. This is a person that killed someone and tried to kill many, President Trump, and could have killed others. Why was his body cremated so quickly? Why was the crime scene on the roof that he was on, why was that cleaned so quickly? Leave it as it is. And you should err on the side of caution in that regard. They did not. That's another question that I would directly like to ask the FBI, or who was ever making those calls on balls and strikes back then.
Okay. Now let's go to on September 10th, Trump puts several notices on Truth Social, and one of them he is talking about this is what he says. This is what he said, September 10th, 2025 at 11:09 a.m. What's with Russia violating Poland's airspace with drones? You guys remember that, right? And then he says, here we go. And then right after that, at 12:23, which you can take 322 out of 12:23, just saying, right? Since we use a lot of 33 hours and all this esoteric craziness, coding that they think they have coded. They think it's a secret. Man, it's not a secret, okay? But anyway, so that was at 11:09 a.m. on the same day that Charlie Kirk got shot. And he says, here we go. And he's talking about Russia violating Poland's airspace with a drone. Well, I think that our airspace is what's getting violated. It's just that I'm not sure if it's by Russia or China or the United States government or the military. I kind of wonder if it's the military complex, because they got all the weapons, okay? And they got every right. If they want to deceive us, they can do that, because if we don't like it, well, we can just get shot. Or maybe we can just fall down in a building, that's demolished. And then they can just say that Iraq did it. Or something like that. So maybe they have some kind of plan to stand down like they did during COVID-19 so that all the guilty party of the cockroaches come out and they can see where they're all at. You know, it is a military tactic to do that, just to stand down and watch your enemy and see what he's going to do. But you don't get to bring down your whole country in the process of doing that. But I think that's what they're doing. They don't care if they bring us down with it. Well, individuals went and got unknown substances shot into their body. Could have been, who knows what was in it. Okay? They did this to us, y'all. And then we just keep letting it slide, you know, just letting it slide. And so, so, you know, that big drug company that starts with a P but sounds like an F when you pronounce it, they don't get to be prosecuted. They don't get to be investigated. They don't get to, for anything that they did while that was going on. And they unalived people with their medicine that was unknown, side effects of which were unknown. I don't know why any American person would be stupid enough to fall for nonsense, but you know, there are mentally challenged individuals that don't know no better and that believe everything that they're told for some reason. Anyway, I'll end it with this. With Trump saying, "Here we go," then the next post was at 3:02, but Charlie was shot at 12:23. If you look at the setup of where he was at and everything, you know, President 45 and 47, if you add 4 and 5, that makes 9. If you add 4 and 7, that makes 11. So on these hats that say 45 and 47 is also 9, is also 11. You see what I'm saying? And there are esoteric, Freemasonic junk going on that you would not believe, and they just go with these numbers and stuff. And the more numbers they know, the more numbers they have to learn. And it's just, you know, overwhelming. I mean, even Solomon said, too much knowledge is too much knowledge. But anyway, we get back to Charlie Kirk died or was shot 12/23 on September 10th, 2025, and Trump posted, "We must all pray for Charlie Kirk, who has been shot. A great guy from top to bottom. God bless him." And so like an hour and 22 minutes later, he says, "The great and even legendary." I don't know what was legendary about him. But, you know, he wasn't, he spoke at colleges, okay? And, yeah. And so he won a lot of young people to vote for Trump over Kamala, who in a right mind would not vote for Trump over Kamala. So how many choices did they give us anyway? And, well, our votes don't even count. They're pretty much appointed. We know that. Anyway, so Trump writes, "The great and even legendary Charlie Kirk is dead. No one understood or had the heart of the youth in the United States of America better than Charlie. That's true. He was loved and admired by all. Not all, but he was by many. especially me. And now he is no longer with us. Melania and my sympathies go out to his beautiful wife, Erica, and family. Charlie, we love you. Okay, so the character Charlie Kirk is dead. So he's not lying about that. And he's no longer with them. Not lying about that. He may be in a protective program somewhere because this is a total psychological situation going on here. Where they're psyoping us and psyoping us and psyoping us. And lying to us. But, he may be dead. Physically, absolutely, that person that played Charlie Kirk, he may be dead, or he may not be. I don't know. Will we ever know the truth? I don't know. Candace Owens, I don't know. I don't know if she's really actually in their camp and pretending not to be, like a controlled opposition type thing, or if she's for real. I want to believe she's for real. I really want to believe that. But as we are chasing this lie, and we are chasing Epstein, what's really going on? That is the question. What's really going on? They put up 5G during COVID-19 that they ran on us for 4 freaking years. Okay. That we weren't allowed to do anything about. So, what are they running on us this time? And, Trump saying that the UN had so much potential until he set up his peace program. Well, maybe his peace program will work because the UN ain't never worked. It ain't never gonna work because it believes in evolution and it is a non-spiritual organization that don't care about anything but Hindu gods and money. Along with CERN, it's really messed up. They got this beast that sits up there at the UN. It looks like a tiger, but you know what I'm talking about. And don't forget the Guidestones. Don't forget the Georgia Guidestones. Don't forget their little plan. Okay, man. Peace out. Check you on flip-flop. Eagle Eye coming back at you at a different date.